Polygon just got better. There was recently a pretty big update for Polygon, adding a bunch of new changes that are welcome, and I wanted to jump back in and try out all these new changes and new features in Polygon, and I want to talk about them in today's video. So first, Ballistics. So Ballistics were added to Polygon. So before, all weapons like just shot and had like no bullet drop, but now Ballistics adds bullet drop depending on the caliber of the weapon. So obviously snipers being the biggest caliber will have the fastest bullet, thus having the least amount of bullet drop. So they said they tried to calibrate the physics of the bullets falling so that it didn't change the gameplay too much compared to the old version where there was no ballistics at all. So of course, in close quarter engagements, you won't notice the bullet drop, but at longer ranges, they will start dropping. Something else that was added with the ballistics, you can now shoot through certain surfaces like wood, metal, brick walls, and depending on the density of the specific material you're trying to shoot through, of course the bullet loses some energy, thus minimizing the impact, but you can still do damage to people that are hiding behind cover, which is a very welcome addition. And this is also dependent on the caliber of the weapon. And something else that was added with the ballistic system, you can now ricochet bullets. Now I have yet to actually get a kill with this or notice that I've gotten any damage, but again, there's so many things happening at any given time that it's hard to focus on whether you got a ricochet shot or not. So it says this also depends on the material and the caliber of the weapon, so bullets will ricochet from metal surfaces, but not from sand. Obviously, after ricocheting against the surface, the bullet will lose some of its energy. This depends on many indicators, such as the angle of the ricochet, the speed of the bullet, and others. Next, the loadout system. So I don't know if you guys played Polygon before, but you had to pick a weapon for a whole round. You couldn't swap weapons mid-round, which made gameplay kind of stale, and you couldn't really adapt to the game that you were being put in or to different situations. But now you can modify your loadout directly during a match. And there's also two different loadout modes. So you have the compact, which just allows you to swap your weapons, and whatever attachments you had on those weapons the last time, they will just automatically be equipped on there. So you can change out your primary and your secondary, and that will just use the attachments that you already have. And if you go in the full mode, this allows you to actually modify the attachments on the weapon, and it's a lot more in detail. So it allows you to swap out like the sights, the barrels, the accessories like the flashlight and all that, which by the way, they added a flashlight. So that is a very welcome change. It allows you to flip your loadout real quick if you are in a bad situation or you're not doing good with a specific weapon. You don't have to leave the game and rejoin anymore. Now you can simply just swap out your weapon and attachments mid-game. There was also a pretty substantial lighting pass across all maps, so some lighting changes here and there. You might notice them if you've played quite a bit, and they also made some changes to the lowest graphics settings. So before, if you had the graphics set to the lowest settings, there were absolutely no shadows, which could look or did look a little bit disconcerting, as you can see in the screenshot here. And now even on the lowest settings, there are still shadows, and apparently it doesn't affect your FPS all that much. They also updated a bunch of models, so sight models and weapon models, to make them look a little bit more realistic. Even though they are still low poly weapons, they do look a lot better now. They also added a couple of brand new sights, so the Cobra and the Pistol Collimator, and now the maximum level is 50, and for everybody that had reached the maximum level of 40, you can get a special cosmetic that will be added later on in another patch. Basically, it's a watch. So every character has a watch on their wrist, but instead of displaying the time, it will display how many kills you have, and this is a unique cosmetic item for everybody that reached level 40 before this update and will not be obtainable anymore. There's also a notification system now for different in-game events, such as your team is capturing an objective, enemy team is capturing an objective. So a lot of really good changes in this update. There's also some bug fixes and a bunch of quality of life fixes, so very welcome. This game is going in the right direction. It's still a ton of fun. The next things I would like to see is some kind of a map rotation and maybe another map or two. And maybe redesign the maps a little bit so you can't get spawn camped so easily, because that's still a problem, but it still is a very fun game. So map rotation would be awesome, so you don't have to rejoin servers all the time that plays like one specific map. And also I noticed a couple of things, like the resolution scale always goes back down to 80%, which is odd, even though I set it back to 100% every time. But yeah, definitely a great update. Just having the ability to change your weapons mid-game is just gives this game so much more replayability than before, and just makes the overall experience a lot more enjoyable than having to leave lobbies all the time because you don't like the weapon that you're using or you want to equip new attachments on it. So that is absolutely fantastic. And I'm curious to see where this game goes down the line. But yeah, if you haven't played Polygon in a while, now might be the time to jump back in and give all these new features a try. And if you've never played Polygon, well, it's a free-to-play game. It's a lot of fun. What it does well. So yeah, jump in, have some fun, see what it's all about, and hopefully this game has a bright future ahead of it. But anyways, that'll be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.